Green light.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let me see how I look. Okay, that'll work. All right. Is anybody out there? Can anybody hear me?
Presley says hello.
Oh, okay.
Presley says I'm number one.
At least you're not number two. How many does it say we have in?
9.
None.
9.
Oh, 9. Okay. Well, welcome to another edition of Uncle Buck's Garage Live, Tuesday Night Lives. As you can tell, we are not in the garage because everybody in the family is sick, except for my son Kenny and my son-in-law Chris. But everybody else is sick, so they all took the night off. So it's just me and my best friend in the whole world here, my wife, wonderful wife of 34 years. She's going to be answering the questions or speaking.
I'm not answering.
She'll be telling me the questions. She's going to be telling me what's coming on her tablet right now. But so that's why we're doing it in the living room, in the air conditioning, because it is hot. 118 degree heat index in Oklahoma today. Worst one, hottest day of the summer so far. And it's going to be like that all week. Maybe even worse by the end of the week. My Sunday and Monday, maybe even worse. So it's 101 degrees with 60% humidity. Feels like 118 degrees. That's hot. And I don't like hot. I had a heat stroke years back, and I don't do hot. So we're moving. We worked all last Saturday morning, and we moved everything we need to move back into the garage where the air conditioner is, because I don't have the air conditioning in the shop yet. So we're going to be working out of the garage for the rest of the summer. Let me see what else we got going on. Got parts in. They've got some really good videos coming. And of course, with being in the living room, we have all the dogs. And the neighbor is moving around. He's mowing his yard right now. So they're going to be making noise. Nope. Get out here. Go lay down. And, but no, I got the locker done in Bamalam. So the locker is done. So it's pulling on 2 wheels. I still got another week of breaking it in. I make a run here, make a run there. And then we're going to make a good run, timed run. He's all right. Dingle, get up there and sit, lay down. Get up there. Get up there. Get up there, lay down.
He doesn't know what he wants.
I know. He doesn't know what he wants. Dogs don't know what they want. They just don't. They'll know they want love. He wants to get up here in my lap, but no, he's a big dog. And he doesn't realize he's a big dog. He still thinks he's a puppy. But, I did want to shout out to Project Headquarters, another channel, friend of the channel, a good old long friend of the channel. Wanted to shout out to them. They have together, him and his wife, lost 271 pounds. That's impressive. And they've done it since November. They have a new video out. Need to look it up, Project Headquarters, and show them some love. All right. So, and if you guys are here tonight, you guys I'm so proud. I'm so proud of them. They are doing great. And unfortunately, Cole, their son that runs dirt tracks, he got rained out a whole bunch so far this year up there on the East Coast. So he's only got to run a couple of times. And but I'm sure if they get any of this up there, any of this dryness and this heat, they're gonna be doing a lot of racing this summer. So let me see. I do, like I said, I always got to do. Shout out to Santana and the crew at B&A Engine Works in Van Buren, Arkansas. They are the primary sponsor of this channel. And link down below. If you guys need any engine work, give them a call, and they'll take care of you. Best in the business. And got the aluminum small block heads back from the machine shop, and Big Steve said they were some of the easiest heads he put together. He said he just lapped them, and pressure tested them, and he didn't have to do any work to them at all. He just put them together, and they were good to go. So once I get a couple of test runs and play around with Bamalam a little bit, those heads are probably going to be swapped out and put on Bamalam. So
JB's screaming pop, so acknowledge him.
Well, hey, JB and Wyatt, I know. I miss you. I love you. We got to talk to you earlier on FaceTime. But yeah, JB, Wyatt, love you guys. Yeah, the grandbabies are at home with their, and Presley's been trying to cough up a lung all day today, and she hadn't been sleeping good. So yeah, we understand. And my daughter's the same way. She sounded terrible when she called me today to ask if it was okay if they stay at home. And just a little bit of me wanted to say, no, bring yourself. But no, they're sick. Let me see. So I did have a cylinder head show up today. Flash Shark were supposed to send me 2 big block cylinder heads, but they only sent me 1. So I got to email it to them. But that happened today, and a lot going on. There's going to be a lot of work going on. We're going to go back to building stuff instead of talking about stuff. So a lot of that, I got 4 or 5 videos already in the can, all how to do stuff, and we're going to do more. So do you guys have any questions, or is y'all's family going through this whole summer cold, sickness, sinuses, and sore throat and everything? A summer cold is the worst.
Blind Sniper says, love your channel and work. You're one of the reasons I'm rebuilding a 1986 5.0 EFI motor for a Cougar. Nice.
I'm fixing to have to do a 5.0. I got a buddy in Texas that's supposed to be bringing me a motor for the Mustang, which is another project that we are starting. And I got it moved. It's back in the garage under the air conditioner. So we're going to be doing body work. My most favorite thing in the whole world to do, body work. Welding and banging and clanging, and yeah. You got to hit me, smack me, do whatever. You got to tell me.
Okay.
She's out of practice. She's out of practice of doing this.
Whatever.
See? Smack me. Yeah, that's what you get for 34 years of marriage. Abuse.
Hey, Uncle Buck, what do you think about the... hold on. I can't see everything.
Well, and while she's figuring it out, also just remember that if you're going to buy something from JEGS or Summit or now Flash Shark, I actually have my own code with Flash Shark. I'll put it in the link down below. That it's website wide 15% off under my code, and it's I can't even remember what it is. It's on my phone, which I'm talking to right now. But I'll put in the link in the notes underneath. But yeah, and that link will be in all my videos, especially starting one on Friday for that 15% off. And that they set me up for it, not just a specific part, but for anything on the website. So you can save yourself 15%. Besides, Flash Shark is like Max Bean rods. They're pretty reasonable on their prices on stuff. But that one cylinder head they sent me, it's a square port big block cylinder, aluminum cylinder head. It's pretty slick. I'm hoping the second one shows up here pretty soon because I got a big block build. I need to put those on.
Hey, Uncle Buck, what do you think about the tall deck 427 BBC? Farm trucks are cheap here.
They are. But they're torque monsters. At the 366s and the 427 tall decks. That's why they went in, 2.5 ton trucks and dump trucks and all kinds of stuff all back in the day, because they'll pull a mountain. They're not great for horsepower because of the really long stroke and the heavy pistons in them, but they'll pull a mountain. They're expensive to build because everything is, like the camshafts and the push rods and the deck height. You have to have you have to get spacers for manifolds and things like that. But that's what they make the 632s out of, and with special pistons, and everything. Those make 1,000 horsepower, naturally aspirated. But you're going to spend some money.
Brian Clark says, "Why is the 5.0 in the Mustang the ace, but in a Chevy truck gets laughed at? I'm a newbie. What's the difference? I'm not understanding."
Okay, because like the 302, the 302 Ford engine breathes good, makes good power. It's a good mid-range engine. It's a little bit bigger piston. If I remember right, it's a little bigger piston with the shorter stroke, which means it wraps easy. It makes RPMs quick. The 305 is just a smaller Hold 350. It's got the same stroke, but another quarter inch off the hole. So it's a 375 instead of 4-inch hole, and that costs you a lot of power, and there's not a lot of torque involved in there. So it's like you really have to spend a lot of bucks to try to make power with the 305 Chevy, where you don't really have to do that with the 302, especially in like with a 305 Chevy, you're probably putting in something heavy. With a 302, you're putting it in a Cougar, you're putting it in a Mustang, you're putting it in whatever, and they're light. And most of the times they're going behind a standard transmission, which helps out also. So, but yeah, it's just they're designed different. But the small block Fords actually flow better through the heads and make more power than a 305 Chevy, in my opinion. I don't have a lot of experience with them, but I'm about to, because that's what we're putting in her Mustang.
Opinion on the carburetor-based fuel system versus injected systems.
Yeah, are you talking about if you're talking about direct injection with okay, are you talking about like a throttle body with pods injection, or are you talking about with injectors in each hole? It's just all what you're into. With the throttle body, when they first come out to go fuel injection, it was emissions thing, and it was, and they run a little better, and they had air fuel ratios in the computer working and things like that. I mean, yeah, there's benefits to both. I mean, but just for cost and for fun, I prefer the carburetor. And if you're going to go fuel injection and spend the money, you might as well go individual port with injectors. That's completely controlled by a computer system, and you can tune it with the laptop, which I don't know nothing about. But I ain't got no issue with any of them. I just prefer carburetors because that's what I grew up on. That's what I know. But I've had fuel injected cars, and and I don't have any issues. It's just a matter of what you're into and what you like. This feels weird doing it in the living room.
Why?
It just does. This is the first time we've ever done it in the living room.
Yeah, well, the den's too hot.
Yeah, the den's hot.
And I don't want to be in there.
Yeah. Yeah, when it's 118 degrees outside, the den gets a little warm. Because it used to be a garage. And I insulated it as best I could. But it just, I don't know what it is about turning the garage into a room. It's always cold and it's always warm. Pretty much no matter what you do. We didn't pull the walls down. That's what we didn't do. We probably should have, but
for a SBC, do you like solid lifter cams or flat tapped hydraulic cams? If I do the adjustments,
flat tap it. I'm a flat tapper guy. I mean, I've run them. I mean, I had friends that had dirt cars back in the day, and they would run solid flat tappet cams, and take the feeler gauge, and yeah, it's just a matter of what you're into. You can get more lift out of them out of a solid cam, flat tap and solid cam. You can get more lift, but this is unfortunate today day and age. Everybody's kind of getting forced to do the roller cam now. I did read an article about comp cams coming out with a new coating for the lifters and for the camshafts to try to negate the issue with, things destroying themselves on startup and braking and stuff. So I don't know. The jury is still out on that, but they are trying to address it. The cam manufacturers are, but I still think I'm probably going, like, for the big block. I'm probably going to go with Howard's. I'm not quite sure that the last comp cam that I used was 25 years ago in the race car, and it worked great, but that was 25 years ago, not now. If I could find that cam in a box dated from the 80s or the 90s, I'd pay real money for that camshaft that was built then to go with the lifters. But that ain't happening no more.
Classic push rod engines versus overhead cam engines. I prefer push rods by a ton.
Push rod by a ton, yeah. Kenny handles a lot of the overhead cam stuff, and he's even liking the simplicity of that 400 small block that he's cleaning up right now. He's just like, this is just so simple, because he's always been a engine replacer, not an engine builder, and so he's having a lot of fun just learning that part.
Oh, Judy just got here and she says, "What happened to the guys in Presley?"
They're all sick. They all got that summer flu, and they've all got it good. I mean, the boys were over, or we were over there. It was just sinuses and sore throats and not sleeping good and achy, and everybody's got the summer flu, including us. But it was that one that started it. And the funny part is, she works from home. We have a theory that that we picked it up from the carts at Walmart 3 weekends ago, and she's just spread it to everybody.
Hey.
She's the plague.
Caring is sharing.
Caring is sharing.
That's right.
Sharing the flu is not caring.
Yes, it is. You just don't see it.
And I still got a little bit of it. I mean, I'm pretty good. I mean, I had a day or two there that was pretty rough, but I come through pretty good. But she's had it for 3 weeks. I mean, she's still blowing her nose constantly.
Blind Sniper wants to know, I understand if you don't want to spoil anything, but what's the future projects do you have going on for the channel?
Okay. Bama Lamb, I got it pulling on both tires now. I got the locker in and it's done. And it seems to be pretty good. It's a little clickety right now because it's got to work in a little bit. But so I got it pulling on both tires. We're going to do an axle flip on the C10, the Bama Lamb, and lower it about 4 or 5 inches in the back because, it's just like this right now. The 66 Mustang is starting this week. I've got to make a list. We got to buy pans. We got to buy quarters and get that stuff on its way. I got all the stuff I need to do it, welder and all that kind of good biz. I've got a 84. Uncle Dave, if you're here, it's an 84 Chevy long bed, 3/4 ton, camper special, 454 Granny 4-speed, an old man's truck. It's gorgeous. I mean, it's straight, no rust. It doesn't even have rust underneath the battery tray. There's no junk in it. The old man took care of it, but it's been off the road since 2015, last time it was tagged. But I got to bring that one home, and that's going to be a flip, I think, unless I fall in love with it.
It's 86, Dave said.
It's an 86, okay, but it's really straight. It's got one little dent in it. That's it, and it's missing a passenger side door panel. And wouldn't you know, I just happen to have a sky blue passenger side door panel for it. So hey, it is what it is. But we got to continue working on Bam Lam, building engines, her Mustang, and then that 86. That's what's going on for probably the next year. I would say the next year is that's what's going on. So we're sticking with trucks, but we're also going to do the Mustang. But I'm going to need y'all's help because I know nothing about Mustangs. I've never turned a wrench on a Mustang. I mean, the 80s stuff and 90s, I've helped out a little bit and looked around, said, yeah, oh, yeah, it's a Ford, and give my friend a hard time about it. But I've never worked on a 66, like a coupe. I've never worked on one. So I don't know. I've got books and I've been reading and I've been watching videos and suspension and steering and all that kind of good biz. So I'm going to be learning as I go. But it's funny how Kenny said it a week or two ago, was that it's going to be a Mustang with a bunch of Chevy nuts and bolts in it.
Yep.
Because that's what I have piles and piles of, And so if you're not spending money for bolt kits, you can spend money in other places where it needs it. But I mean, I have everything on that car, including the seats. The only thing I don't have for that car is the front windshield and a hood. And, so we'll find them.
Is there an E85 gas near you? Not much here. Is it good for old muscle cars and motors?
No, E85 is not good for muscle car motors, especially if they sit for a while. There is I think I have the link down below. It's findgas.org. I think that's what it is, or freegas.org, which is, you can find, if you type in your zip code, you can find where you can go to get non-ethanol gas, non-ethanol added gas. I have a little Sinclair station just 2 miles down the road from me here that I can go get gasoline for the lawnmower and chainsaws and, and for everything, including the hot rods, because it has no ethanol in it. It's a little bit more expensive, but you don't have to worry about it sitting for a couple of months and turning into molasses, because that's what ethanol is. Now that it's mandated that it's year-round 15% because of everything going on in the world, it's not good. 15% ethanol is not good on your old hot rods. Get on that website and find where it is around you and buy it. Non-ethanol added gas.
Judy says, no, Mrs. Buck. Not when it comes to sickness. Sharing that stuff is not caring. I beg to differ, but okay.
After 34 years, if you ain't got a little humor, you just ain't going to make it.
Yeah.
I can honestly say we've never went to bed mad. Never went to sleep mad. Or at least I haven't.
Agitated, maybe.
Agitated, but not mad. Aggravated, but not in a fight. Yeah. Because she still puts the toilet paper on wrong.
Oh, my God. Get over yourself. At least there's some there.
And she gets mad at me because I put the dishes in the sink instead of in the dishwasher. But that's the good stuff. I mean, if that's the worst thing we got to argue with each other about, then we're doing pretty good after all these years. But, yeah, no. I'm really hoping that other aluminum cylinder head comes in for the big block because that would be cool. I mean, having aluminum heads on a small block in Bamaland would be cool, but having an aluminum headed big block on the stand ready to go for whenever I decide to do the switch to go right, that would be cool. I mean, just putting it together, looking at it on the stand, that would be cool.
Okay. So, understand if you don't know much on it, but I've got a 52 Chevy Bel Air coupe with a 6-cylinder in it. Barn find. Any insight at all is helpful, or a source for information I can look into. YouTube it, Google it.
There's gonna be a Hayes book about it. You can look that up. That they help. Everything that I've got a Hayes or a Chilton book about. That's good information. And Googling it, and there's always going to be videos. I mean, the classics like that are like, yeah, there's stuff on YouTube that you can look it up and get your information on. I would like to do some couple years down the road. My dad had a 55 Ford. I have to get the pictures out to see what kind, 55 Ford pickup truck that I dearly loved when I was a little kid. I still have memories of it that I would like to do like a, homage to Dad, on that one, because it was red with white on. He had It was he was the only Texan in Wisconsin, and he had a boarding stables and a horse training stables, and it was Texas Training Stables was on the doors. It was, it was like, like the retro rods are now, everybody's got their little moniker that's on the door, but he was the guy that did it in the 70s, Texas Training Stables. And it was a big outline of Texas with a guy getting bucked off a horse. It was cool. And we got pictures of it. And that's what I would really like to build sooner or later once everything starts settling down and summer's over. And I'd be looking for something like that. I have to get in Mom's photo albums and get some pictures of it so I know which direction I'm going and exactly what year it was, because I'm thinking it's a 55. It might have been a 58. I don't know, but it was a cool old truck.
Power Wagon says, me and my wife married 38 years so far. Congrats.
Congrats.
Yes, congratulations.
Yeah, we're coming up in September for 34.
Yeah, 34 long years. I mean, happy. Doesn't seem like it's been that long.
No, when you're having a good time, it goes by quick. Yeah, 34 years and 2 kids and grandkids, everything has went by really quick. Yeah, it's a good life. But no, like I said, I'm really hoping that you guys will help me out, and in all the videos I make, I'm gonna be asking, put your comments down below in all the videos I make with her car, and I think we're gonna call it Midnight Blue. No, what are we calling it? Kenny's truck is gonna be Elvira. What do we decide we're gonna call it?
Pony Boy.
Pony Boy. Okay. It should be Pony Girl, but okay, Pony Boy. But it's going to be painted midnight blue, really dark.
Because if it's a pain in the ass, it's a Pony Boy. If it starts giving me problems, it's a boy.
Okay.
Why Size Garage says married 46 years.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, after that amount of time, it seems it's a habit. I wouldn't know what to do without you. She still won't get on camera though.
That's right.
I can guarantee it.
My arm is right here.
I can guarantee it. When we go to SEMA, she's going to be behind my shoulder filming, but she will not get on camera. But I did order my Ray-Ban Meta glasses, so I can just hit a button and say, Meta, start recording. I can catch her not paying attention. And that's going to help, because then I'll be able to do this instead of doing this when I'm holding the camera, showing you guys how to do stuff.
Dave says the 52 Chevy 6-cylinder had Babbitt bearings and are a pain. If it runs good as is the enjoy. But if you're looking for an upgrade, then consider a 54 or newer 235 with insert bearings or a V8.
There you go.
The 52 was 216, I think. It's Michael or David. And then Michael says, hello, Uncle Buck and Mrs. Buck, aka the boss.
AKA the boss, that's right. Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
Happy spouse, happy house.
Yeah. See?
Just don't make a redhead mad. That's all I got to say. Once her fire's lit, everybody leaves, including the dogs. Everybody just does that deer in the headlights freeze. Oh, mom's mad. And we leave the room.
What's the difference between a 2-bolt and a 4-bolt 350?
6 extra bolts. Well, okay. On a 350, it's considered to be stronger. On a 400 block, there's been tests done. They're not stronger. So it's actually a more stable bottom end, because everything flexes. And if you're just doing daily driving and everything, like like the 454 that's getting built right now at Santana's, it's 2-bolt main block, and I'm not going to be twisting it to 6,500 RPMs. I'm not going to be beating on it. I'm going to be just tooling around and having fun with it. But it's a matter of stability and strength, cradling your crankshaft, and so they were designed. Basically, if I'm understanding correctly, they were designed for the higher RPM and higher horsepower applications because they're more stable on the bottom end. The cores don't shift as much when they're moving with harmonics and stuff like that. But for daily driving, it really doesn't matter which one you use. But that's what the purpose for the 4-bolt main was designed for higher RPM and higher performance and horsepower applications.
G said if their mom and dad were still here, they would be married 47 years on June 1st of this year.
I miss them too. They were good people.
And it's still going to be midnight blue, the paint job.
I know you still want blue. You don't want really dark, deep blue. I get it.
Yep.
That means Kenny's gonna have to get that body straight, completely straight. Yeah, because he's gonna be one painting it. Make up some fan area in, air outs for the shop or for the garage, and put our respirators on and goggles and do our thing. I'm gonna try on the Mustang. I've been watching everybody use a roller to put primer on. It just seems like it'd be more, they mix it and put the stuff and mix it all up and put it in a roller pan with a roller, and they roll it on instead of spraying it on. I thought, now that would be for like if you got a panel that's a little wavy and that'd be a lot more efficient than trying to put 4 or 5 coats on at one time. I mean, I know a lot of it will end up in the floor from sanding, but that just seems like, to me, the way I do it, it'd be more efficient for me to roll it on and then sand it down.
Do you think an LS engine is better in a classic truck or an old SBC?
No, I gotta go original. I'm old school how to, and Kenny is the new school with the LS swaps and stuff. No, I am small block Chevy, big block Chevy. Preferably big block. I know they drink gas, but I've had a couple of vehicles that have big blocks in them, and there's just no comparison. I mean, small blocks are great because they're economical now, and there's lots of parts out there, and big blocks are really expensive to build, but once you've been there, you tend to you get a taste for that torque and that car twisting power. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But no, I'm not an LS guy. I'm old school all the way.
I always thought that nearly 4-bolt mains were for truck applications with higher torque.
Well, and they also came in the Chevelles and the Camaros and anything, the Novas, that anything that was going to be a high performance application order that way. That's it. Most of the big blocks say high performance on them somewhere inside a pan somewhere. They say high performance on them, but a lot of them came in cars. I mean, it's they're designed to take more. They're designed to take more abuse. And most generally, if they came in a Chevelle or a Camaro or a Nova, it had a forged crank in instead of a cast crank. Also on top of that, so that just makes it even more durable.
Project Headquarters says, "Hello, Mr. Buck. Sorry, just got here."
I was just talking you up a little bit earlier, but I'm very proud of you guys. I mean, you guys look great. You really do. And I was telling everybody to check out your channel and show some love tonight because, curious, what's y'all's weather like up there on the East Coast right now? Because down here it's 118 degrees. It feels like it's 101 today, but it felt like 118 degrees in the shade. So I was wondering what y'all's temperature was like up there on the East Coast.
He says rain.
Raining again? Oh.
Eastwood makes a roll-on primer. Haven't used it, but I imagine it's good.
Yeah, I think that's what I saw was it was on Eastwood's like channel or like a commercial or something about, mixing it and then put it in a roller and then rolling it on. I mean, it really looks like it'd be like for stuff like I do, it would be almost perfect because it would fill in all the low spots and high spots and it would go on thicker. Like I said, a lot would end up in the floor from the sanding, but it just seems for like a project for that Mustang that's pretty rough. It would be like spot on perfect for it in every nook and corner instead of trying to mix it up in a spray, and it just seems like it would be a lot easier for me to do. I'm going to try it.
Project Headquarters says it's been crazy. Supposed to be nice after today. Weekend is looking good.
Oh, okay. All right. Maybe Cole get to run this weekend. Let me see. What else we got going on? Well, like it's just so dang hot. I haven't been wanting to get out and get in it. Even in the mornings when you walk out, the sun hits you down here, and you just go, oh, that's hot. At 8:00 in the morning when you're going out the door going to work, yeah, it's just it's been brutal down here. But I knew that was coming. I mean, we had a very mild spring and early summer. And I knew that as soon as Mother Nature decided to, hit it, she was going to hit it hard. Boy, she has down here, man. It's been brutal. But let me see. I'm just counting the days for SEMA. I mean, I want to take that memory to heaven with me, just to see the show. Let's see. Other than that, it's just doing a little bit every day to making progress on stuff. I actually need a new set of shelves. I got so much. I've got that Mustang packed full of all the pieces. I mean, the heater stuff and the hood hinges and all that kind of good stuff. It's just all painted and ready to go. It's just all packed in there tight. So I actually have to empty it out so I can get there to do the floor pans in it. But yeah, I don't know where I'm going to put all the stuff because I put it all back in the Mustang just so I have space in the shop, in the garage. So, yeah.
Do you do any oil system oiling modifications on a SPC?
Well, yes and no. I do a little bit. I always try to blend out the intake on the rear main bearing cap. I do a little bit of work in there. I make sure that the oil filter spin on is cocked a certain way so it gets better flow in and out. I make sure they're all cleaned out. I use pipe cleaners and everything on all the orifices and everything, but I really don't do anything to modify the oil passages in a small block. I do make sure that both the back corners, that all the casting flash is ground out and it gets a good path back down to the oil pump in the back. But other than that, that's pretty much all that I do. And for block prep for that, I don't do any kind of craziness. There's guys out there that's been doing it longer than me that are educated, that know more than I do. But I've never, for on the street and just for having fun with the engine, I've never needed to do that kind of modifications on stuff. Just go with if I'm going on the street, I go with a regular volume oil pump. Like I always go with milling, and then a milling high volume if I know I'm going to the track a lot. Like was in the 454 with the big block, it'd run 80 pounds of pressure at idle. It was great, but I didn't do anything to that system either. I didn't modify any of the oil system for that big block, and it did great.
Do you block off the bypass?
No, I don't. Everybody says you should, but I've always used Wix filters, and I've never had an issue. I just never have, and so if you use the right filter, I don't see for a street engine. I don't see it being necessary.
Rebuilding a stock 89 EFI and want accessories and reliability, but the nasty sound cam 278/286 80 450 is still the way to go.
I would if you're gonna on. He said 89.
Yeah, 89.
89. On an 89 pickup truck, I'm assuming it's a pickup truck. Does 89 the brakes run off a vacuum, or are they just standard brakes? Does the heater system run off vacuum, or is it electronic? You know, it's all a matter of what you need vacuum wise for everything to work. If it's vacuum based, it's a little bit big. If it's not vacuum based and if it's all done with electronic switches and stuff, then you should be good. It's just a matter of if you go that big, get you a vacuum canister, a vacuum reservoir, and add it to the system, and you'll be fine. That's what I got, one in the box out on the shelf for Bamalam, because it's a little spongy. It's got a big enough cam where it's not pulling up vacuum to run the brakes, and so it's a little spongy and it's a little hard. And that's going to be one of the videos coming up of me putting that vacuum reservoir on to fix that problem with Bamalam, because if the big block does get put in it, it's going to have a good thumper, not a thumper cam, but it's going to have a cam that's going to be above 268 degrees of advertised duration. So it's not going to have a lot of vacuum. So I'll need that reservoir no matter what engine I put in it. But if you put it together and it does seem like the brakes are right, get your vacuum reservoir, you'll be fine.
Can a SBC 305 be a good daily driver?
Absolutely.
Or he said, sorry, oh no, it's a different person. Sorry.
Absolutely. Yeah. You put an intake on it, you put some exhaust on it. It's a lot of fun to drive. The first truck that I built had a 305 in it, and it was a lot of fun. It ran great, but I had put a good intake on it, like a low RPM, out of the 5500, nothing radical, a good carburetor on it, and a good set of exhaust of headers with some good exhaust out of it, and it ran the valves on it, and it was a lot of fun. And the guy that bought it, still driving today, loves it. Sends me pictures about once every 6 to 8 weeks. He's just happy as a clam.
Kevin said instead of the 450, it's a 350.
Yeah. But no, 305, they're not terrible engines. They're limited by the amount of horsepower they can make. And if you're limited by horsepower, you're limited by torque. That's just the mathematics of an air pump. So, I mean, there's no replacement for displacement, but a 305 can still be a fun little engine. Yep. And while we got a little bit of time, just remember, check out all links down below. Help support the channel if you'd like to. I'm been that new design on the t-shirts. I ordered some for myself. It's the built not bought ones with a picture of Bamalam on them. They're really cool. And check them out. There's a link down below for everything. There's a link down below of all this for everything. So, but like I said, if you guys are going to do some shopping, Jugs are some are JEGS and Flash Shark. The link's down below, especially Flash Shark, because that's 15% on anything off that you guys can buy.
What about a 305 HO heads on a 350 GOR AC10?
If you can find them, get you some 305 Vortex. They actually made those. They flow. They don't flow as much because they're smaller. You know, smaller valves. The whole thing is 305 because they had to make the valve smaller to fit in the cylinders because the cylinders are smaller. But they did make Vortec versions of 305 heads. You know, but anything can be improved if you got a die grinder, you know, and some time. You know, you take them apart, you can blend some things out and make things a little smoother and a little cleaner, and you always make more power that way. I mean, I've been doing that with 882 heads, cast iron heads forever. But I'm really jazzed about the aluminum heads. I mean, it'll be, you know, I had a friend come by the office and he said, you know, there ain't nothing cooler when you pop the hood and you see a set of aluminum heads sitting on a small block. And you just go, yeah, I know what that is. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to doing that swap on Bamalam, just to see what to do. And in the bargain basement, you know, the DNA Engine Works or whatever the company is called, and like I said, Big Steve from the machine shop said he saw nothing wrong with them. He said they were really slick. He said, like I said, he just hand lapped them in and pressure tested them, and they were all good to go. He had to do nothing to them, just put them together. And they were ready to go. Then they look awesome sitting on the bench. And they're going to look better sitting on the engine, but right now they look awesome sitting on the bench. Any other questions, guys? Nothing?
Nope.
Nothing new?
Good to see you, Dad. As far as doing the engine swap from the motorhome to the C10,
Hi,
what
Parker.
would you go into that?
What? Oh, that's from Parker.
Yes.
Yeah. Not much. I mean, you'd have to like, if that big block's in a motorhome, it's gonna need a different dipstick because it's have one of those really long ones that goes out in the front, so you can check it. Just to just pull it out and put it back in. You can still use the dipstick. It looked funny. It'd be up there by the radiator. But there really isn't a lot to do. I mean, it's the pans and the motor mounts and everything are all the same, and the carburetors and the intakes and the distributor all the same. It's just a matter of unbolting it and getting it out and getting it put in the chassis, you know. And while it's out, you know, you clean it up a little bit. You make a decision if you need to do new gaskets here or there, or just little bits. But really, to do the swap, the hardest part is going to be getting it out of that motorhome. That's going to be the hardest part.
He said, "Big dipstick." He says, "Love y'all." And then Power Wagon says, "Do you think a daily truck needs a 4-wheel drive?"
If you live up north during the winter, yep.
Mm.
But yeah, but 4-wheel drive is, you know, I mean, it's a utility vehicle. I mean, even the pickup trucks, even Bamalam, the 80 model C10 short bed is a utility vehicle. They were designed back then to be work trucks, you know, not to be hot rods. I mean, the aftermarket has come on like gangbusters, you know, but I mean, 4-wheel drive, they ain't wrong with 4-wheel drives. You know, Kenny loves his. You know, he loved his 78 long bed GMC. You know, it was a good solid truck. Still is. It's running around here somewhere. I haven't seen it in a while, but ain't nothing wrong with 4-wheel drives. And if you think about it as a daily, if it's paid for and the insurance is cheap but the gas is a little bit more expensive because you burn more of it, I mean, I am into the point in my life where I don't like payments. So everything I got is paid for. So I think it's a wash. I think if you want an older something, or maybe two, in case one needs to be worked on, you have another one to drive. You know, I think it'd be. I actually believe it's more economical today's prices to have something older that you can work on and do it yourself, as opposed to go out and buy a new one.
Parker says it got a little warm when the upper radiator hose blew, but it's never overheated to the point of shutting off.
You're fine.
Kevin says on the 89 350 EFI, maybe use a little less aggressive cam.
It can affect the computer if it's possibly, but I mean, it's all stuff that can be worked around. That it can be done. You know, it's not that big of a deal. But you're definitely probably gonna have brake problems. It's not gonna have where they're not gonna work. They're just not gonna work as well as they could.
And Parker says, I wouldn't mind it getting torn down and rebuilt. It's just so we know it's a solid for the long term.
Well, see, I got this great little tool. It's a scope, oscillating scope that we can look in each cylinder and see what kind of condition we're in, so we know whether or not we need to tear it apart or not. You know, borescope. That's what it's called. Yep. It's a cool little tool. It works pretty good.
He says that it only has about 55,000 on the odometer.
That ain't even good and broke in yet for a big block, so you're good to go. I don't see where you'd have any issues. Change the oil, put a new filter on it, check out the holes, spark plugs, wires, you're good to go. Well, okay. You guys got about 5 minutes left. It's 5 till 8 or something like that. I just want to say I really appreciate all you guys that show up here every week. It really does my heart good. I mean, I look forward to this all week long. I mean, I can, working for the weekend and getting out in the garage and playing, but I look forward to this all week long. Just the one-on-one, just the talking and answering questions and shooting the bull and giving this one a hard time and vice versa, and talking with the boys and the grandbabies and the girls. I really just enjoy this day.
Parker says borescope sounds a lot better than rebuilt if you like what we see.
Yeah. I mean, that's the great thing about it is that you can pull like the trimmer out and you can go into Lifter Valley and see if it's all cruded up and see if there's any issues. You can get in the cylinders. Yeah. I haven't tried it yet, but they say you can go down the dipstick tube and move it around and look around inside the pan. That would be cool.
Power Rating says, do you prefer HEI ignition to points?
Oh yeah. Yeah. My first car was the 69 Dodge Dart that it lasted 2 weeks in my teenage hands. But the second one I had for 9 years was a 73 Monte Carlo, and that had the first 73 was the first year of the HEI, and I've been hooked ever since. Now, if you really want to go top shelf, then you go MSD, a whole complete MSD system, but those are $600-700, and probably by the time if I ever buy one again, it'll be, the price will go up. But HEI all day long. If I end up with a points distributor, it's probably going to get a Pertronix, a box in it and get rid of the points, because it's just too much of a pain. Set and dwell all the time is a pain.
As long as you had the oil drained, I couldn't imagine why that wouldn't work.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking just right down the dipstick tube, because it's small in the dipstick tube, so it should actually, especially on a big block, it should actually fit. That would be kind of fun to do. Check that out. So next time I get playing around and get it out of the drawer, we'll see where it'll fit. But it's a cool little tool. I wish I had one of those back in the day. That would have been helpful. Pulling up on a guy's place. Oh yeah, it ran great. It ran when I parked it. Okay, let's pull some plugs and let's see how well it ran when he parked it. That would have been helpful 30 years ago. But, there are some good things about technology.
How to solve oil leaks on a SBC?
Pull it out and change the gaskets. I mean, I've never been a believer in the stop leak stuff in the engine. No. Now, stop leak maybe in a radiator if you got a really small leak, maybe to get you home. Stop leak like Lucas stop leak for a power steering pump if it doesn't have holes or anything in it. Yeah, but I've never been a fan of the stop leak inside an engine, crankcase. No, if you need to fix leaks, you need to pull it or get underneath it and change the gaskets. They'd say it that way, but that's about the only way to really do it, to do it right. I did see something funny the other day. One of my dear friends, he did some trading and got a car, and the block was cracked, and they used JB Weld on the outside of the block to patch it so it wouldn't leak so bad. Don't do that. Don't use JB Weld on, on strip threads on your oil pan. Don't use JB Weld on your engine.
What about the valve covers? Do I need to need the spreader bars?
Yeah, they help. They help. Whether it's the factory ones that are about like big or the aftermarket ones that are like that, and they do help a lot. The Velcro has a new, well, it's not a new one. It's a Forever Torque, a protected torque, something like that. They're not cork. They're rubber with the metal infused inside of them, and they have stops where you can't over tighten them. And they work better than pretty much everything else on the market right now. And they're a little pricey, but they're, yeah. Yeah, but use the spreader bars, especially if you're using cork or rubber. What?
Nothing?
What?
I'm not saying nothing.
You're laughing at something.
I'm just laughing at Roscoe.
Roscoe. Hey, don't hit the camera.
Parker says, love y'all. I gotta hop off. See you next week.
Give that baby a hug for me. Can't wait to see you when you get in. Oh, let's see. No. All right. We're about up to an hour. You guys got anything else? Any other questions? Anything else I can help with tonight? Like I said, I just want to say I'm very thankful for having the Tuesday night family here. All you guys that are here, that are regulars. I really appreciate every single one of you guys. And any last things?
Nope.
Nope. All right. Then we're going to call it a night and turn on Netflix or something. Probably Ted Lasso. Probably Ted Lasso. We're on season 2.
Something like that.
I don't know about y'all, but we end up doing like a couple of months of Big Bang, and then we end up going back to like old series that we like, and we watch those. Like right now we're on Ted Lasso, and it's just you kind of some of the new stuff I don't like. There ain't a lot that I like of new stuff. So we just go back to the regulars. Go back to the tried and true, what works for us. But come see us next Tuesday. Check out all the sponsors down below. I'll put that link in for that. I'll make sure that link is in the description for Flash Shark. Like I said, that's a big deal. That's going to help the channel out a bunch because it's or everybody on the channel, it's 15% off of anything on the website from now until they tell me it's gone, which is going to be a long time because I'm going to be doing a lot of work with them and along with Max Beating Rods too. And anybody else that I can use as a sponsor. So I appreciate all you guys and we'll see you next Tuesday. Any last questions?
Nope.
Peace, guys. Have a great evening.